Hi guys, I want to share with you today a very special opportunity. Some of you know my story. I was a Democrat my whole life, voted for Obama. In 2016, I drove 100 miles round trip just to vote for Hillary Clinton. The night she lost, I cried with my actor friends in the middle of Hollywood. And I was not a political activist, not politically informed, but I just knew that compassionate people, good people, they vote Democrat. So I proceeded to get, more outraged by everything I thought was going on from 2016 to 2020. And then March 2020 rolled around, and like so many Americans, I lost both of my jobs overnight, never saw those jobs again, although I didn't necessarily know that at the time. But I was fully on board with all of the restrictions, everything that was being asked of us, and a lot was being asked of us because I live in Los Angeles. I did it. I did everything. I was a little concerned about losing my jobs and my income because I'm a little attached to those things, kind of need them. But even still, I did everything that was asked of me. And then summer 2020 rolled around. And we were all told, both implicitly and also explicitly, that we could go out to protest or worse on behalf of BLM, but we still couldn't go to work. And that really blew my mind because I needed to go to work and I wanted to visit family. I had a grandparent dying alone needlessly, and all of that was still off of the table because of this deadly situation. But here we could go out and protest or worse for this one single cause. And of course, I support every American's First Amendment right to peacefully protest. But when you have members of the medical community, talking heads, politicians, not only encouraging, but also sometimes attending these protests for this one specific cause, in the middle of what we are being assured is this very deadly situation, so deadly that we can't even go to work. People have to die alone from things that aren't COVID related. Any reasonable person, any rational person would start to have some questions. And when I started expressing those questions to my liberal friends, to anyone I knew who was a Democrat, which was really everyone I knew at the time, I would make these long, thoughtful Facebook posts. Didn't matter who I said it to. I was called racist and I was called selfish. That was the response. And that blew my mind even more because it was an absolute refusal to recognize that I could possibly have any honest reason for asking these questions about this very disparate response to the pandemic versus BLM. Absolute refusal to recognize that I might have any honest reason for disagreeing. And so I walked away from the Democrat Party and I never looked back. It was like a light bulb in my head because it was the first time that I realized that this party, this side, this team, this ideology that I'd been supporting my whole life because I thought they were for the compassionate side. I thought they were for the underdog, for the little guy, for the struggling everyday American. I realized actually, they're not. Because my struggles, my very real struggles, the struggles of millions of Americans who were harmed by the response to the pandemic, our struggles didn't matter. And so I walked away and I didn't talk about it for a long time. And one of the reasons that I started talking about it and continue to talk about it still to this day and have never really shut up about it is that I found WalkAway. Now, the movement of former Democrats who have left the Democrat Party, former liberals, started by Brandon Straka, and I realized that I'm actually not alone. And actually, there are hundreds of thousands, if not more, Americans who have been through, who are going through what I am going through. And it was such a relief. It was such a comfort, such an inspiration, because it really does take a toll on you. It's not just switching voter registration. It is a complete shift in worldview. You lose friends, you lose family sometimes, you lose jobs, you lose income, you lose reputation and social points, and it's like a lifestyle change. It's like everything you thought was true in life turns out to be not true. It's very humbling, to say the least, and to know that you're actually not crazy and actually a bunch of Americans are right there with you is really, really helpful. I remember seeing Brandon's first and at the time only WalkAway video, and it was as if he had a crystal ball. He made the video in 2018 when I was still a raging liberal. But there's this moment where he says, We reject junk science and superstition in the name of pushing an ideology. And it was like, well, that's exactly what's happening in 2020 as I'm watching this video 2 years after the fact. And I absolutely related to the hatred and the division that he spoke of, and the absolute intolerance for white people or straight people or anyone who possibly questioned the narrative, because that is in fact what I was experiencing in that moment. And that video very much touched me and inspired me to start speaking out. And that is all the more reason why I'm so pleased to tell you today that I'm WalkAway's newest employee 4 years later. And all the more reason why I am very much from the bottom of my heart asking you to take part in our current fundraising initiative. WalkAway has a goal of raising $100,000 by October 15th. We have a very generous donor who's agreed to match that dollar for dollar, but only if we, with your help, reach $100,000 first by October 15th. Now, we're well on our way to that goal thanks to your generosity, but we need your continued help. This week alone, we are over halfway to our goal for the week, which is awesome, but we still need to raise about $13,000 more by Sunday in order to stay on track for our ultimate $100,000 October 15th goal. So I really, really would love for y'all to give $1, $5, $10, donate bit by bit, more than once, whatever you can do, because Brandon has made a follow-up video 6 years later, and that video has already reached thousands. But we want to put that video in the hands of 1 million or more Americans. We want to reach as many Americans as possible and encourage them to walk away from the lies, from the manipulation, from the fake news, from the division, from the intolerance, and to share their story and to talk about it. We want to reach as many Americans as possible and let them know that they are not alone. But that takes money. It takes money to market, to advertise, to email, even just to text people. It takes money. We also have an initiative right now where we're touring college campuses and having debates with friendly debates with college students and talking to them about our stories and reaching the younger voting generation. And again, all of this takes money. And I know it's election season and everyone is asking for your money all the time, but especially during election season. But I hope you can find it in your heart and in your wallet, thanks Joe Biden's America, to donate, $1, $5, $10, whatever you can give. Every dollar matters. Every dollar will be matched, because WalkAway is here to stay. We are the original movement of former Democrats leaving the Democrat Party. And we're not done after the election. We are just getting started. We have so many amazing things coming down the pipeline, but as with anything, all of it takes money, and reaching Americans takes money. So I really, really hope that you consider giving between now and October 15th. Every single dollar counts. Like I said, this movement matters. This movement changed my life. So if you've ever enjoyed a piece of content of mine, or video, whatever, somewhere down the line, you have WalkAway to thank for that, because I really don't know if I would be where I am today without WalkAway. Genuinely. So I really hope you find it in your heart to give, and definitely stay tuned with WalkAway, because as I said, we have a lot of amazing things coming for you, and we are so glad that you're here.